On FM,
online,
DAB digital radio,
and Freeview channel 734.
This is BBC Radio Northampton.
Sitting next to Liz and also opposite me is Tony Klinger, who is a British filmmaker. Hi, Tony. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you.
You've been on BBC Radio Northampton before, so you know the drill. But how has your week been so far?
Actually, really tiring. I was commissioned to write a screenplay for an American company, and they were here this week from New York. And it was very intense.
Wow.
You know, like they say in politics, you know, a free and frank exchange of ideas. This was that.
I like how you just casually dropped in. I was just asked to, write a screenplay for some Americans, and they came over from New York.
That's my thing. I make films for people.
Your life is very different than mine, and I'm fascinated by what you do and how you stay so cool and calm as well.
Well, I'm like the swan. On the surface, cool and calm. Underneath, I'm pedalling like crazy.
Okay. Hopefully our topics for today won't make you pedal too much like crazy. Although, funnily enough, once again, I picked some topics not knowing that today is your birthday.
It is. I'm celebrating my birthday. I love birthdays. I especially love the fact that I've survived yet another year. I'm the oldest surviving male member of my family, which is really kind of strange because I'm not that old, but they all kind of died young. So I'm really happy I'm still here.
I was going to say, what does that feel like to have that as a title?
Good. It's much better to be here. I really don't want to rush to that place with the crematorium.
I think that's a very fair comment to make, to be honest with you.
Healthy survival instincts there.
Definitely. I was saying that in my family, everyone's either born in May or January. So it was my dad's birthday on Friday as well. No idea what to buy him. I feel like dads are the hardest people to shop for. Liz, you are nodding your head.
Oh, impossible. My dad was very, very Irish. Wanted for nothing. Don't get me, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. So I did end up getting lots of charity kind of presents. So I would go to Oxfam and do something in his name and tackle it that way. So, but oh God. He was impossible.
My family, my father was upwardly mobile. I was born in Hackney in London, basically in a two-up, two-down sort of slum next to a bomb site. And by the time I was 14, my dad had become the most successful film producer in the country and was that for about 15 years running. And he made films like Get Carter and Repulsion, Cul-de-sac, things like that. And so when we ended up, by the time I was 14, in Grosvenor Square. Which was kind of a nice transition.
Yes. I have worked there. It is nice. Yes.
What happened was that I valued money and things like a working class boy, not like a rich boy or the son of a rich man, because that's how I was brought up. And I think the maximum spending money I had in old money would be about 10p today, about 2 and 6 pence. Yeah, he said go and earn it. And go and get a summer job, go and be a projectionist or whatever. And he's long since passed, but I thank him every day because I learnt a lot from that. So when I bought him presents, it was like I could only buy what I could afford, and so they got better as I got older. But he didn't. It didn't. I don't think in our family. I must be honest. I was the recipient more than the giver.
Okay.
I was the young boy,
Yes, I'm also the youngest, so I liked it. My brother always says I'm the spoilt one. I don't think that's true. I think he's the favourite because he was the oldest, right? Parents always take all the pictures and videos of the first child because it's all new. By the time I came around, they just weren't bothered. Is that because it happened to you, or because that's what you do to your kids?
That's
Liz?
what my children now would literally. You've taken the words out of their mouth. So my eldest is 26 this year, and I've got no end of photos. They're in frames. It's all beautiful, and then I've got another two that are pretty back to back. And poor Joe, he's the youngest, and there is not one. Like there's literally not one.
That is brutal.
But they're all on my phones, and I just haven't quite got them into a scrapbook.
But if they were your first, you'd have made that effort. See?
Well, I had an older sister, and my sister I would get a pair of socks. She'd get a car, and she'd be jealous of the socks.
Okay, now that one I don't understand, because I'd much rather have a car.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. But she wanted the car and the socks.
Okay, now that's like just a different level of wanting presents there, really, isn't it? I did love your heartwarming story, Tony, but I couldn't help but think 10 pence in old money. My goodness, inflation, right? 10 pence wouldn't even get you sweets these days.
Well, to be fair, my first job, and I'm talking a long, long time ago, but my first job, and I was quite highly paid compared to my friends, was £12.10 shillings.
Wow.
And that was good wages. And I remember one guy I knew of that worked for my dad later. He was the first person who got £100 a week. And my dad said, that man is getting £100 a week from me. And he went out and bought a car like that. He could have had enough money to buy a car.
My goodness.
And my wage packets, I worked on the Avengers. And because I was working long
I know, he just
night,
like drops that in and we're blown away.
Well, I was assistant director, I wasn't a boss or anything. But I think I started on a basic there of £14 and you got lots of overtime money because you were working all the hours. And I went to buy a car, a Triumph Vitesse 2-litre convertible, new. And the man said, he looked at me, I was 17, like, what did I had a pair of jeans on, and he said, how's Sir going to pay for this? And I just had the wage packets, and I said, yeah. I gave him a couple of wage
Like
packets,
that.
and I bought it. Yeah.
Love
And
that.
I think it was £690 to buy a brand new car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
£690 is less
like
than my rent.
a petrol bill now, isn't it?
Yeah, quite literally.
over 2 months. You know?
Two dozen eggs.
Yeah.
So now, of course, you've moved on a few years. It is your birthday today. Have you started spending money like a rich man, or do you still see money like a working class
I
man?
don't value things by money. I have been very lucky and fortunate in my life to sometimes be very successful, and sometimes you're not so successful. And I don't measure by success or by money, because that... I remember when people did it to me, that everybody was asking me my opinion about this, that, the other. And then I had one giant failure. I won't go through the details of it, but it was a pretty traumatic experience where like everything went sour. Like as happens to anybody in life, you have those moments. And suddenly people go, well, maybe you could be a taxi driver. Nothing wrong with being a taxi driver, but it's like suddenly I was so clever last week and I'm such an idiot this week. That's how you think of me. And so I thought, well, you can't measure people like that. You measure the person, not the achievements, not the money. And so I feel it's really relevant to see, well, what's inside that person and why, what makes them tick. That's what fascinates me about writing and making films.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very wise chat that we're going to be having today.
I know, I feel in the company of
I know.
sage advice here.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
please don't be
brilliant.
sorry.
It's
lovely.
We've barely even got onto our first topic, which is coincidentally about birthdays. And Tony, I would love to know how you celebrate your birthday, or how you're celebrating it today. So hold on to that. Have a think about your birthdays that you've done in the past, the big ones, the small ones. Same to you, Liz. And I'm going to ask you how you've celebrated in the past and where money falls into that as well. Deep Blue Something and Breakfast at Tiffany's on BBC Radio Northampton. It's Akylah Rodriguez on the Lunchtime Takeaway, and I'm joined by Liz Murphy and Tony Klinger. Tony, whose birthday it is today. Yay. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Now, I saw this week, and probably because it was my dad's birthday as well, it was a headline that really stood out for me. The headline goes as this: I bought my husband 40 gifts for his 40th birthday. Some say I'm mad, but I don't care. I personally would love to have 40 gifts for my 40th birthday. It's essentially a gift a day for a gift for the year that you are. Some people think she's mad. Some people think this is excess. My spoilt self would love someone to do this for me, but also knows that I couldn't do it for someone else. I did not get my dad, 68 gifts. That's how old he turned. What's the weirdest way you've celebrated your birthdays?
Starting, my family are great at birthdays, and they've taken me a surprise trip to Athens when I didn't know it was going to happen. They took me to the airport, and we were on a plane, and it's all great. I enjoyed that. I've had a cruise that was organised like that. It was great. I'm really happy I'm 73 today. I'm really happy if they bought me 73 gifts. If you're listening, family.
Do penny sweeps count? Because if we're talking about like the tiny like equivalent stocking fillers, that's one thing. If we're talking like 70 grand gestures,
I could do with either.
I like it. You're putting it out there that if someone wants to do that for
If
you,
they have to
you'll
insist,
take
I
it.
can accept it.
Liz, how about you?
Historically, well, my birthdays, I'm a twin. So I share my birthday, and I've always enjoyed that. So I can't say really I've done anything massive, like personally, the general run-of-the-mill stuff. I am turning 50 this year. Big Hawaii 5-0 this year.
Good
Feeling
age.
good.
Yeah.
And over the years, much like yourself, stuff means nothing to me now. I'd rather have an experience. So I've said to my group that I want presents that you can't wrap up. I don't want stuff and things. I would give me an experience. So that's kind of where I'm steering any Hawaii 5-0 birthday
Well, it sounds
presents.
like you should be taken to Hawaii.
I think so. I'm right there with you.
Just putting that out into the ether.
I have, I said earlier, I have a Christmas baby, and talking about birthdays, I was highly protective of her birthday, like fiercely protective that she should feel like she has a birthday. She waits all year for it, in the lengths to which I would go. Some may consider extreme, but that girl knew it was her birthday and she wasn't sharing it, with any of the festivities. So
That's really sweet. That must take a lot of effort, though, if she's so close to Christmas, to then quickly break off and then go, all right, let's get the tree, get that all sorted.
It's more being bossy with other people, which comes quite naturally to me. So it's isolating areas to make sure that she had a birthday area. So in the house growing up, she would have like a birth. Luckily, there was the kitchen and a separate living room, so I could make that the birthday area, and this was the Christmas. So Christmas still happened, but there was absolute birthday festivities happening as well.
I think that's really important.
So important.
My two grandchildren in America, they're American, and they have their birthdays both in December, like the 3rd and the 10th. And what they do, my daughter does, is every year she makes special birthday banners and balloons and bunting. They're now in their 20s, but it's still, they love it.
Yeah.
And they really appreciate it. And it's not so much the presents, although I think they like a present. It's the thought, the care that goes into it. They bake a cake, they do it specially.
Yeah.
Nice things. And I think that's, as you say, not stuff, effort, love, it's sharing.
Not having combined birthday present, Christmas
Separate.
present, that was pretty key.
Separate.
That was not allowed. Wrapping paper had to be birthday wrapping paper. If they came to a party, they take off that Christmas jumper because it is not a Christmas party. Slam that Santa hat in the bin. You can have it on your way out. This is a birthday.
Well, we've got an interesting sort of side issue on that my family's Jewish, and in America they'd only ever had, because we kind of blended the family, but they only ever had the Hanukkah time. And when they were here the year before last, well, I think whenever it was during COVID, they had never seen like Christmas presents and things. So their eyes were, is there this as well?
What are you missing out on?
That's like when you give a child a sweet or chocolate for the first time. They're like, I'm sorry, raisins? What were they? No, thank you. Please give me candy.
Yeah, it's like a wonderful revelation, because you get I think it's 7 or 8 Hanukkah presents day after day, and this is a whole bigger, better present, and it's Christmas and it's after our birthday, so it's 15 presents this year.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a lot. It's not quite 40 for turning 40, but that is a lot. I mean, what's the strangest way you've seen someone else celebrate their birthday? Have you ever seen someone do something and go, no, that's just not part of my values whatsoever?
I have. I've just been writing about it.
Oh, really?
I won't go into the detail about what the project is, because I'll probably get in trouble for this. But writing, and in the writing there are numerous mentions of the birthday parties that were excessive of Sir Philip Green, with flying 100 people to Cyprus and dressing them all as Roman emperors, and getting in Paul Anka to sing My Way, and things like that. And he apparently did this quite a lot. And you go, how would why he on one party he spent apparently $3 million or $5 million
As you
on
do.
one party, and it's insanity.
Yeah.
It's
I find that a
insanity.
bit distasteful, really, isn't it? You sort of think,
beyond
good
distasteful.
Lord, that's
Beyond
horrible,
distasteful, yeah.
actually.
I'd like to agree with you, Liz, but there is a part of me. There is a part of me that
You
if
want
I
to be on that list.
if I had that much money, where 3 million was nothing, which I don't think anyone should have that much. I think we're talking about dangerous territory when we've got too many billionaires in the world.
Agreed.
But if you had that much money, wouldn't you do it?
Ask you a different question. If you got an invitation you're coming on the plane, we're taking you to Cyprus, they're going to be majors. They had, I think, Destiny's Child doing one of the cabaret acts, Tom Jones the other day, Paul Anka the other day, 3 days of this. Would you turn it down?
I would 100% be the first person in the queue onto that plane. Like,
I'd
question.
I'd go just
I would
to see
absolutely
it.
go.
I'd go.
See, my moral self is like, no, I would not go.
You wouldn't attend,
and then
you'd go. Come on now, truth.
Oh yeah, I feel sick though.
You're right. It is excess. It is excessive. It is ridiculous. But it's for someone like me, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Oh
really,
yeah, but
isn't
it's
it?
so appropriate that he would dress up as the Emperor Nero.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's a wonderful metaphor for how he thought.
Isn't it? And that's probably what I'm finding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I wouldn't have enjoyed the games, but I'd have probably gone to the Colosseum.
Yeah, true enough.
I think you've set the bar high, Tony, for the strangest way someone else has celebrated their birthday. I think that wipes out the whole getting 40 gifts for your 40th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Well and truly out of the water.
He kind of gives the gifts to himself. I mean,
Doesn't he? Yeah.
True, actually. Liz, have you come across anything when someone celebrated your birthday you've gone, no, this is just...
My daughter is really getting thrown under the bus here. But my Christmas baby, she turned 20. So that was lovely. So an average 20-year-old, you'd think she'd be kicking her heels up, having a high old time. She went to a garden centre.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Do you know what? It was really lovely.
Yeah.
But we ripped it out of her so badly. It was very funny. So she had a group of friends and we all went to a garden centre and had lunch.
You spent the whole day in the garden centre and that was the party. Not like, I'm just going to go and pop in because I like being around
Yeah, no,
plants.
it was that was destination.
what was she looking at? Plants? Or,
Just she wanted the lunch,
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's lovely in
Yeah, very
Beckwith.
nice.
It's very
It's a nice
nice.
place.
But we all just sat there going, "Are we really here? Is this really happening?" But yeah, I
definitely
mean, she was at
unique.
uni, so she did her uni birthday, so she had a number of sort of like celebrations. But forever and a day, we will never let her live that one down. That she went to a garden centre for lunch for her 20th birthday celebration.
she's just a wild and crazy girl.
She's clearly.
I was going to say, if she was out going
Older
crazy,
than
you'd
her
probably
years.
be like more upset about it, wouldn't you? And be all anxious.
We
So
brought down the demographic of the whole canteen by some years, or by some decades.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I, for one, I'm not going to lie, I'm a fan of having the multiple birthday parties because why not? As in, like, why not have 40 days of celebrating as opposed to one if you're turning 40, for example.
I'm buying you a toga.
I'm not really showing myself in a very good light, am I? I think we shall move on. First up, though, since your daughter had her birthday at a garden centre, let's play her Miley Cyrus and Flowers.
That was beautiful.
BBC Radio Northampton.
And as per usual, Bernie will have his host of celebrity guests. I think he's got Glenn from the Sex Pistols on tomorrow from 10, if you want to check that out. Before we heard about Bernie, we played Miley Cyrus and Flowers, dedicated to Liz's daughter, who spent her 20th birthday at a garden centre. That's Liz Murphy, who's sitting opposite me, joining me for the lunchtime takeaway right now. And we've also got Tony Klinger in as well. Tony, whose birthday is 73, did you say?
73, yeah.
I've got a question. How is a 73-year-old supposed to act?
That's a good question. I think you act how you feel. I don't measure it like that.
Okay.
Certain things happen. I mean, certain things, like I used to do fitness every day. Now I've limited myself because you get things that ache and hurt you because that's how it is. But I think it shouldn't be, I mean, other than on your birthday, it's not the subject of anything I think about. Other people do. Mm-hmm. Other people talk about, oh, you did this and you did that, and it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the moment now. And tomorrow's moment is tomorrow's moment. So I'm not worried about that. And so I can't do anything about the past because it is what it is. I can only do something about where I am now. So I don't worry about age. It's not relevant. One day the big man will come knocking and then it'll be relevant. But it's not relevant to me as I go. So I just I don't measure it that way. I suppose other people do because you lose your hair, you go grey, all those kind of things happen. Nothing you can do about that. And there's nothing to worry about. It is what it is. I deserve every line I've got.
You've earned them,
Yeah.
that's for sure. I know, he's lovely, isn't he?
I feel like I'm in the presence of a guru.
I
do you
know.
Like I'm getting some really great advice.
Maybe this is what happens when you hit 73. You've just got all of the wisdom to share with us as young people.
My wife would be going, no, you don't.
I will say this, though, Tony and Liz, I don't know if you agree. You don't look 73.
No.
But then, saying that, I also don't really know what a 73-year-old is supposed to look like. My grandma, she's 90? 90.
Gosh.
And she also, to me, doesn't look 90. She has hardly any wrinkles, which I'm grateful for, because I'm hoping that I take after her ever so slightly. But I'm not really sure. Actually, same to you as well, Liz. You don't look your age either. Do people ever say to you, "Oh, you seem young. You don't seem like you're going to be turning the big 50?"
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, very rarely. So I am actually very pleased to hear that. I don't feel like I'm 50 at all. I don't.
What?
It's April, but it's not.
What does 50 feel like? Or 49?
No, I think it is. It's like you say. It's what everybody else expects it to be, really. So inside, I'm still. It depends who I'm talking to. If I chat with my best friends, I'm 7 again in the primary school, giggling like a stupid school child. It depends on who else is around me. So yeah, acting your age depends on who you're with and what you're doing, doesn't it?
It's measured by silly things like people, how should you dress, stuff like that. It's totally irrelevant. Dress how you want to dress.
Yeah.
And I've always done that. My wife, again, doesn't think very highly of those choices. And,
who does your shopping?
Yeah.
Do you do your
I do
own
my shopping, and it's very, very fast, as you can probably tell. I go in, I know what I want, I buy it, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't say. My wife goes around. I literally get like travel sick going round the shop, because she goes around every little nook and cranny, and I'm going like left a bit, right a bit, left a bit, right a bit, turn, go back there, go round there, and it's like it makes you. I think it makes most men feel sick.
Do you think?
I don't know that it's split by gender these days, because I shop. Me and you would shop great together, because I'm just in, out, go.
Yeah.
In, go, get what I need.
Well, my wife is not.
And I don't take great pleasure in shopping. And,
I don't either. I hate it.
It's a very functional thing for me.
Oh,
It's
I
like
love
just
shopping.
Yeah.
maybe because I don't have an event to shop for, or it could be that actually that.
Maybe. I mean, I'm like your wife. I like to meander and go in all because you never know what you might miss.
That's true.
But I like fashion in general, in terms of, like, for me, going around certain shops feels like going to an art gallery. Even if I'm not going to buy something,
Nice.
I like looking at the mannequins. I like looking at outfits going together, seeing what's kind of new, what's trending. I like that stuff.
Wait a second now. If it's an art gallery or a museum, I love it. And I'll take forever in there.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. So when I go shopping, I do, especially if I've got the time, I like to look and I like to see what there is and try things on and be like, oh, does this suit me right now? No, but maybe in a couple of months, or, I like to meander. I'm a proper meanderer. But it is funny that you talk about clothes, because though 2 headlines I saw this week about 2 days apart. The first one was, I'm 51 and people tell me to dress my age. And the other one was, I'm 49 and trolls bash me for not dressing my age. Now, I had a look at the Instagrams and the TikToks of these 2 people that sent these stories in, and they both look fantastic, might I add. They're wearing crop tops, they're wearing ripped jeans, they're wearing tight clothing, and they don't look 51 or 49. They look a good 10, 20 years younger, and they look fantastic. So I couldn't quite understand why people would tell them off for not dressing that age. But now this is something that's kind of personal to me, because I very rarely tell people how old I am. Mainly because I come across a lot younger. So I'm always really worried that when they find out how old I am, they're going to think, oh, crikey, you're so immature for your age. Especially because when I meet other people my age, particularly women, especially if they've had kids, they're so together. They're so together and on it and organised. I'm like, oh, I'm really lacking in that department. So when it comes to acting your age, I'm always curious to know what the stereotypes are, and if there are any that you do or any that you actively fight against.
I've watched other people, especially women, they get a certain age, they cut their hair or they dye their hair or whatever, and I just don't understand it, because what makes you feel good is what you should do. It's really that simple. And if you feel good in a crop top, lovely. If you don't, or it's sometimes you see people and you think that they're not doing themselves a favour the way they're dressing, because it's not making them look good. But that's not about age, that's just about taste.
You'd say that, but some people would see a certain amount of wrinkles and go, because you've got X amount of wrinkles, you shouldn't be wearing a crop top. Some people do think crop tops are for when you still have lots of collagen in your face, for example.
Yeah. I'm very much live and let live.
Really?
Yeah. If you want to wear a crop top, wear it. You know, just do it. Wear what you like. Life's too short to be worrying about what other people are thinking, and why take on board all of their bad energy. You know, I'd be more interested to have a conversation with the troll and find out actually what's behind all of that negativity, because this poor person is just living their life. They're putting themselves out there. If they've got the body confidence to wear whatever they're wearing, let them crack on. Let's celebrate that. I think for me, wearing what I choose to wear depends heavily on what I've got on that day. You know, what things do I have to actually achieve in that day? So I spend a lot of time just in a chef jacket, so and my docs, you know, and that's so it is more about what you've got to do and your physical abilities now. So I've had a touch of back pain recently, and that has heavily dictated on stuff that I wear.
Sure.
So
in what way?
Socks were elusive for a while because I literally couldn't put them on. So that was problematic. And so actually what you physically can and can't do can dictate what you choose to wear that day. But I'm not happy with people body shaming other people. It's like, just wear what you like.
Can I flip it ever so slightly? Because Liz, you've got kids. Tony, you've got kids and grandkids. We're talking about people at the ages of 51 and 49 wearing crop tops. What about younger kids trying to dress older?
Yeah, it's up to them. Same answer.
Yeah?
If that's for the way they want to dress, fine.
12-year-olds wearing crop tops?
I have one of my granddaughters is 14, and she's at that age where she's transitioning to being a woman from being a girl, and I can see her father just not allowing her out if she was like that. For me, I would just be concerned for her because I know how evil some people are.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't have yet. She's very bright, but she might not have the maturity to how to deal with that. And so, yes, that's kind of a protection issue rather than a fashion issue. But if she's 16, 17, and that's what she chose to wear. I mean, I'll own up, my other granddaughter, who's now 22, awfully cute and everything, and she started to dress quite sexy very early, and she lives in Los Angeles. Used to worry the hell out of me, but she got safely through it. But it did concern me, because that's not just her, that's dealing with other people and their problems and issues.
I feel like that was a very diplomatic way of saying, no, I wouldn't really like it. You did it very, very well.
If you've got primary school aged children, and if they're being targeted by the fashion industry with like padded tops, and you kind of go, that's not on really. So that's more about talking to the industry and them sexualising young children. But they get dictated by.
We're agreeing too much.
I mean, I'm thinking that you're both very relaxed, calm, comfortable in yourselves people, which is really, really lovely. Have you always been this way?
I have.
Yeah. I don't know. No, you see, my children would say, no, Mum, you've been pretty unhinged for quite some time. Or like quite expressive. I don't know. Yeah, I think I've chilled out a lot.
I'm wondering if this is why you both look younger than you are, because you're just not carrying a lot of weight.
Well, I don't think you can. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Because if in my particular industry, films and stuff, and books, if you stress that when you get criticised or something like that, you're going to die very young.
Yeah,
because you're there to be criticised. And so you can't really take it too seriously when somebody says something nice, because then you won't be able to ignore something that's particularly nasty. And there are people that will be nasty just for the sake of being nasty. That's life. And so, you can't worry about those things too much.
I suppose so. This is where you tell us now that you've secretly had Botox for the past 15 years to hide the stress.
I'd be too scared of the needles. No.
Well, gosh, that's another thing we could talk about when it comes to age, really, isn't it? We might have to leave that one for just a little bit later on. All right. Should you ever want to do this as a karaoke song, it often goes very, very well, but I would recommend you do it later in the night, because earlier on in the day, kind of people want the big upbeat songs. This is kind of like getting closer to midnight and starting to unwind kind of a song. Cyndi Lauper and Time After Time. I want to say thank you to my guests who've been joining me for the lunchtime takeaway. We've had some brilliant chats about age and how old it is to be acting your age. I didn't actually ask either of you the question. How old does something have to be before it's classed as vintage?
My age.
73. Do you know what? I'll take that. Sarah texted earlier and said anything 20 years or over counts as vintage, and I looked very, very ashen at that. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us today and joining in the conversation. You've both been brilliant. Liz, have you got much coming up over the week?
Coming week, every week I do a fill your fridge menu, so I'm doing that. I'll be doing that over this weekend. I'll have a Valentine's menu that'll be rolling out soon.
Yeah.
So I kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'll be rolling out the same menu that I pretty much do. So that's for people to eat out at home. So celebration meals will go out. So I just like theming things, really. I just go shopping for different sorts of serviettes and then just theme it with cuddle me brownies and things like that, and marry me chicken, and so I'm looking forward to that.
This is the planning your daughter's birthday. This is where that has gone to a different extension there. But basically, you've got another busy February coming up after a very, very busy January as well.
Yeah.
Good to hear it. Good to hear
you.
it. Tony, how about yourself? I mean, how are you going to celebrate today?
We're just going out for lunch with the grandkids, and that we're looking forward to. And I'm just trying to think of the things we've got coming up. On Netflix, we have a film I made many years ago with my late father called Riding High with Eddie Kidd. And as you know, he's now quadriplegic. And so I'm really happy for him because it gives him another avenue of things to be involved with. And in America, we've got a documentary I make with The Man Who Got Carter about my father and his life. And that's on all the platforms there except Netflix. And we're finishing here on February the 10th, round the corner in the studio. We finish the filming and editing of Dirty, Sexy and Totally Iconic, which is about the film Get Carter that my father made. And then we have 2 other films coming out, which I won't bore you with, and we have some books coming out on Give Get Go Books, which is our new imprint, and the first of those comes out next month, and that is the 3rd edition of my book, which is about The Who, and me making a film with them called The Kids Are All Right. And so that comes out late February. In fact, I'm trying to put it back a couple of weeks, but it's February, March. And then we have other books that I've written and other people have written that will be coming out during the year on that imprint. So a busy year for us.
Yeah, definitely. I thought you'd just be like, yeah, we're going to have some dinner and you're going to have a cup of tea and it's going to be chill. But no, you're still going. I was going to say 73 and still going, but that's really insulting, isn't it, actually? So
well, it just is what it is. I figure that you're only here the one time. You might as well live it and enjoy it and do it.
I feel like I've been imprinted with a lot of wisdom today, don't you?
Yeah, so much.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, to both of you, as well as on your birthday as well. I don't know who told you it was a good idea to celebrate your birthday on the radio, but they did. Thank you both for coming on, and have a really, really great week.
On FM,
Online,
DAB Digital Radio,
and Freeview Channel 734.
This is BBC Radio Northampton.